Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here on ESGNet, and welcome to another episode here of the Dallas Cowboys franchise Cowboys Insider here today. And today we are looking at week 17, which was a tough week for us, to say really the least, as now we are 15-1 going into the postseason, and we're going to start the playoffs here very soon. But first, before we get to that, well, let's get to the game there. As you take a look at the stats there, and what a tough game it was there, especially for Dak Prescott there, who had a really rough game. He was 25 of 44 in that ball game against the Eagles. Very snowy Philadelphia night there. Now, that's not to make an excuse for Prescott there, but Carson Wentz had a really great game there. 164 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was 10 of 17, 58% of his passes were completed there in that game. So you would think, okay, it's a slick, it's a tough night there. Well, I think with Prescott, I think it was because he just could not read the defense that night there, as they did a well, let's just say a damn good job there of zone blitzing him and getting him to throw the ball when he didn't really want to. That was pretty much our issue there in that one. And well, we pretty much had to try to make good of it, as you see there, he only had 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in that ball game there, which the defense did a great job there of getting into his face and really making him throw the ball under pressure as much as they did. LeGarrette Blount had a great game there, 23 carries, 122 yards there, no touchdowns. He had a bit of a rough start there for him, trying to stop him, but we were able to really put a stop to him. Really, it was all about the quarterback situation, Eric Wentz, and then of course we took him out because of injury, and they brought in Nick Foles, who really did a great job of just securing the lead there and maintaining the 2-possession lead they had on us towards the end of the game there. Zeke Elliott, 21 carries, 103 yards, 3 touchdowns there, and I really feel like that we should have ran the ball a lot more, because we were getting away with a lot of things on the ground than we were on the air. So that might be something we'll look at into going to the playoffs there, is for some reason we just, I don't know, ever since we brought back Zeke Elliott, it's just been kind of different. It's been that we've had a tough time trying to get him involved in the offense, which it shouldn't be a problem, because he's pretty much our offense. I mean, he is the offense there. Without him, we can't really do much with the passing game there. So I think next game, and depending on regardless who we play, I think that might be something we'll be looking into. Receiver-wise, Jason Witten, 4 receptions, 23 yards, 1 touchdown. Dez Bryant, 4 receptions, 58 yards. Terrence Williams, 5 receptions, 75 yards. Ryan Switzer, 5 receptions, 95 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then Swim, 2 receptions, 25 yards there for him. Defensively, Brian Jones, he had 7 tackles for a tackle for loss. Hitchens had 11 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack in the game. Tucker Carlson, he had 7 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and then Damian Wilson, 4 tackles, tackle for loss, and a sack there for him in the game. Defensively, I mean, we just could not get things going. We could not get off the field. Eagles did a great job of just converting on the 3rd downs and making big plays, which just really killed us in the end there. The receivers there for the Eagles were just everywhere. They just did a great job there. And then, you tell during the second half there that we were kind of breaking down their defense there, because we were able to score quickly. We were able, we had opportunities where they were giving, we had those 2 pass interference calls that were calling on them, and that really helped us to, get down the field there. And I was really hoping that we were going to get more of those calls there later on, but I don't know. It's just the defense did a great job of just getting our guys covered and just swarming on them. And like I said, not to mention just putting a lot of pressure on Prescott there when they needed to. So, big downs like 3rd downs, especially short attempts. They did a great job on the slant routes there that we were throwing at them. And like I said, Hicks and Graham just did a great job of watching Dak's eyes, seeing where he was going to throw to, and just really getting in his face about taking those picking those balls off and just taking them and have those open fields there where they can just go ahead and run down the field and take those for touchdowns there. In a couple cases there, they had some pick sixes there for the Eagles. So yeah, just a tough day there in Philly. And in some ways, I guess you could say, some people we've been talking to, a lot of Cowboys fans, that hey, it was better for them to lose now than start losing in the playoffs. Playoffs is basically you have one chance, one game, and then that's it. If you don't win, you go home and you sit down and watch the rest of the playoffs on the couch with everybody else. So I guess in some ways, that's a fair way. I guess that's a good way of putting it there, and kind of thinking, and not to mention, we're going into this game, we were 15-0, and we had, pretty much momentum is still on our side, even though we did lose one game. So losing one game before the playoffs, I guess, in a way, is you can kind of hit the reset button and figure out what you did wrong there, and kind of correct a lot of those things, which, there's been some things that I think have been building up towards this game, because there was a few games that we should have lost. We should have easily lost, but we found a way how to, grind it out and find those plays to get us into the situations that in other games that we found a way to win those ball games. So this one, we made a good fight coming back, but just came up short there, and that is going to cost us a loss there. Unfortunately, we cannot go down as undefeated here in this regular season. But you know what? That is not our goal. Our goal was never to be undefeated in the regular season. Our goal, is to go to the Super Bowl there for us. So as you take a look here at the news there, you see a lot of people talking about wild card weekend and some of the wild card matchups coming up here, and we'll show those here in just a bit. But yeah, for the most part here, it's something I think that a lot of teams. Secretly, I think everyone would like to go undefeated, kind of be like the Patriots and kind of like the Dolphins back in the day there. But it's also kind of nice to I don't know, not say we just just take the last game and just tank just on purpose. But it's kind of reminds you that hey, we're not perfect. We got a lot of things we got to work on, and we do, especially offensively. I think that with the passing game there, that was just really a eye opener there, and hopefully it's going to teach Dak to be more selective and not give away too much of what he's doing. Now, also to get him to be more ready to look down the field and look for his options there, and look for the other guys that are open, not necessarily have to throw with the guy that he's assigned to throw to in that specific play there. So we'll see how that goes here as we take a look at the injury report there. We got Jalen Smith. He'll come back next week there. And as we take a look here at the final week there, you guys can look at this final standings there of week 17. But for the most part there, it was, like I said, it was a good game there. It was fun to see them come back. It'd been even better if they came back and won it, but in a perfect world, that would be awesome. But we don't live in a perfect world, so we end up coming up short there. 2 possessions down, and come up short there. As we'll take a look here, and oh, look at this! 49ers actually won a game. Okay, so maybe that was the reason why we we lost our game. 49ers become winners here, so they are 1-15 now for the season. But they still hold on to that number one. They hold on to the number 1 overall draft spot there for this spring's draft. So 49ers get their win. We get our first loss there in the final week of the regular season. Now, take a look at the NFL standings right now. As you take a look here and see, and we're going to just run them all the way down to number 1 to 32. There you see a lot of 9-7 teams there, like the Steelers there. For them, and a couple others you see like the Eagles 8-7-1, we'll see here. I think, like I said, yeah, 49ers will get the #1 pick if the season would have ended, would officially will end today. So we'll take a look here and see at the AFC there. And there you see, I think, of course, the Patriots #1 there in the AFC. And take a look at some of the other teams there. They're not going to be making the playoffs there. And of course, the first top 6 teams in both AFC and NFC will go. So Cowboys and the N6 will go. Lions will go ahead and move on. They'll get a bye week along with the Cowboys. And then Falcons, Seahawks, Saints, and Redskins there will be in the playoffs there. So those are your 6 teams that are in the playoffs for the NFC. And I'll just go ahead and go down the line there and look at those there. So pretty good matchups here coming up for the Cowboys, or for the playoffs. Pretty interesting games coming up here in the wild card round, and we'll get to those here in just a bit. But I just want to show you guys this. I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to see the standings for a lot of your favorite teams there, and you guys can check those out there. Just like I said, the 49ers finally won a game there, so congrats to them. They're not going to be 0-16 like in real life how the Browns were this year to wrap up the real life regular season of the NFL. But there you see the Browns 4-12 there, so a lot better than their real life counterparts in some ways there. We'll take a look here and see the Jaguars going to move on. They're going to go to the playoffs 13-3. Titans are going to move on. They're going to go to the playoffs. They are 9-7. So those 2 teams representing the AFC South are going to go to the playoffs. Go ahead and see the of course, the Patriots there 14-2. They're going to go to the playoffs. Dolphins 8-8, Bills 6-10, and Jets 3-13 there in their division. AFC West, Chargers 10-6, along with the Broncos 10-6. Raiders there 6-10, and the Cowboys, the Chiefs 5-10-1. Go to the NFC North, Lions 12. 3-1, Packers 7-9, Bears 6-9-1. Move on to the NFC South, Falcons 12-4, Saints 10-6, Panthers 6-10, and Bucks are 5-10-1. There you see us 15-1, and Redskins make it 9-7 there. So we might have a good chance here. We might end up facing the Redskins there. Some probably in the if they win. I think that we may end up meeting them in the divisional round. If I'm thinking correctly here, we'll see. Yeah, they'll play the Falcons there in the wild card round as we wrap up this episode here. We're getting close to wrapping up this episode. Titans, Chargers will face off there. They'll be in San Diego in that early game there on that Saturday afternoon. And then that Saturday night, it will be the Redskins and Falcons. Now, Redskins, we played them was a couple weeks ago, several weeks ago. And that'll be a nice matchup there for us if we face them again. It'll be the 3rd time this season that we face them. And both times, we had some pretty good games there. So that should be very interesting, and that should be very fun for a lot of the fans there, the AFC or NFC East there. If the Redskins happen to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. And then we got the Broncos Steelers, which is going to be a good game there. I'm going to put my money on the Steelers on that game right there. Big Roethlisberger in there. This is their time of the year. They like to play football, and they play some really good football. And they'll move. I think they'll move on to the next round. And then finally, you got the Saints and Seahawks there. Matchup that I'm looking forward to, because if we happen to play, well, I think if the Falcons win, I think they go ahead and they face us. Or no, yeah, or something like that. One of those, yeah. I think one of those 2 teams is going to face us. I can't remember, but it looks like down the road, somewhere down the line there, I think Seahawks will. I like that. I think that's will be a team that I think it'll be fun to play against. And I think if they, well, no, yeah, I think, yeah, should be. It's either Redskins and Falcons should play one of us should play us, I think. So whoever plays that game between the Redskins and Falcons, they'll face us, and then if the Seahawks happen to win against the Saints, I think the Saints will end up going to either one of those two teams will go to the Lions there. So and of course we like to play them because the the Seahawks have been a great team all season long. And they've had an amazing season there in Seattle. And it'd be really fun to play against their defense with our offense, which I've already played them already, and we had a really great game against them a couple weeks ago. So take a look at the season stats here. I was trying to think about how that works out with the teams and stuff like that, who plays who. But yeah, I think that's correct. So I don't know. We'll have to find out and see here, but. Either way, it's going to be, regardless who we face here after this wildcard round, it should be a very interesting game. As long as we just don't have a game like we had there in week 17. But do you take a look at the stats right now here for the Cowboys and what they've done here so far this season. And some pretty good numbers there. Both Witten and Bryant there with 10 touchdowns apiece there for the regular season. So that's nice to see our two veterans there with those the top two. Of course, I know a lot of you probably would like to see Daz with a lot more, but it's like I said, it's tough. Throwing to a guy that you really want to throw to in double coverage. It just it happens, and I'm not gonna. I'm already got enough interceptions now as is with Prescott there, so we'll just have to just deal with it and just go with it. Hopefully Daz will step up and play a lot better there coming up here in the playoffs. As you take a look at the defensive numbers there, and you guys can just scroll or just pause the video there, and as we're scrolling here to see who did what during the regular season there. But right here I'm pretty actually happy with the team so far. I was more impressed that we're able to win 15 games up to that point as much as we did there, because I wasn't too sure how this season, at least this first season with the Cowboys, we were going to be like playing as them. But one thing that I'm happy about, that the running game, it's started coming back. We did well. The running game was excellent when we started this, and of course Zeke Elliott had to sit out for 6 weeks there of his suspension, and we're glad that that's put behind us now. Now we can focus in onto the playoffs here and get that behind us. Now we just got to clean up the issue with Dak there with the interceptions, and just get him to read better on the field and be more aware of what's going on with him and his receivers there. Not to mention, and of course, with help with that, he does need to get his receivers to help him out. Dak and Beasley and Williams and even Witten need to all get some distance between them and their defenders there in a lot of ways there. So we need help from wide receivers there to be able to get some distance there between themselves and the defenders, and just get open and get open quickly there for Dak to help him out there. So that is something, like I said, we're just going to have to work on as we go along. Also, the offensive line just needs to be able to do a better job blocking, which I think they have, quite honestly. And that's something I know, talking to Jason about that during some meetings here, going into the bye week here, going into the playoffs. That is something he said that he is going to be working with them here for the next week or so. So work with the offensive line there, getting them better. Also defensively, defensive line needs to get in there and just start causing some havoc there, like they were at the middle part of this season here, when they were just getting a lot of good sacking opportunities there. We just haven't seen too many sacks here in the last couple of weeks here with this defense, and I think that's because they just become, I think they're just becoming lazy. To be honest, we just need to kind of amp it up here and get ready for this the second half of the season. So as we take a look here, finishing up the season numbers there, and we'll get into more of the around the league type stuff coming up in episode 18. The Dallas Cowboys franchise. That'll be week 18. It'll be a bye week for us. It'll be wild card weekend, and we'll get into more of the wild card matchups, and also we'll look around the league at stats and stuff like that. So that'll be coming up here in the next episode. So right now, today, we're just looking at the Cowboys stats, and this should be almost finishing up here in just a bit. But like you see, just take a look at the numbers there. And of course, yes, we did not have any punt return touchdowns this year. Came close to a couple of times there and a couple of games there against some punt returns for touchdowns, but unfortunately come up short. So like I said, coming up, the next video you guys will see will be episode 18 of the Dallas Cowboys franchise. It will be a bye week video, so that means we'll just be looking at some stats around the league, show you guys some numbers of players, league awards, all that kinds of stuff coming up here for week 18, and then show you this matchups, which we already showed you already. We'll show you those matchups again, and then we'll show you guys the who won and who lost, and who will be going on to the next round in the divisional round of the Cowboys here in this Cowboys franchise. We'll see who we'll be playing. Like I said, I think in that game between the Redskins and Falcons, I think that winner will face off against us. So like I said, it'll be very interesting if we play against the Redskins there. It'd be a lot of fun. It'll be a good matchup there, and another shot here to get ready here, because you know, anything can happen here in the playoffs. So remember, it's one and done. If you win, you keep moving on. If you lose, well, you go home. So we'll see how that goes coming up here in the next episode. So stay tuned for episode 18, you guys, for the Dallas Cowboys franchise. Like I said, it'll be a bye week video. It'll be a wild card weekend, and we'll take a look at those matchups coming up on the here on the franchise. So that is it for me, you guys. As always, keep yourselves and each other healthy. Stay tuned, like I said, for the next episode. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, and also on Discord now. You guys can check us out there for the latest news and events on what's going on here on the channel and what's going on in the world of sports gaming. And that is it for this episode, you guys. As always, keep yourselves and each other healthy, and I will see you guys next time.